So my name is Daniel, and I'll be going over a basic tutorial on door closers. When we're talking door closers, there's a sea of products out there. We're not talking like this is like the only one they make. This is a larger bolt pattern closer. Every manufacturer has their own. I mean, Yale makes them, Arrow makes them, Dorma makes them, LCN, LSDA. Don't ever buy LSDA; they are not good closers. But like, the list goes on and on and on. This is just nothing special about this guy. Larger bolt pattern closer. I think it's like 11.5 inches center to center of your holes. That's how you are supposed to measure the bolt pattern you're dealing with. And when we're talking installation of closers, there's many ways we could tackle this. You know, we could do, depending on how your storefront or the wall is built, or what type of doors you're dealing with. I mean, we can do like a top jamb mount up here. We could do a parallel mount right here, or we could even do an exterior mount on the, well, we could do it on both. You could do it on the top jamb or on the exterior of the door. We could, there's multiple placements that we can do with this. This gentleman, for this guy, I've decided to do a basic top jamb mount. And again, they do provide templates with the closers, but as most techs who've been in the field a long time know, the templates don't always work. They're generally geared towards like a traditional frame that you're dealing with. When you're dealing with like storefront, you have different size mullions you're working with there. They're not exactly prime or exact. So for this dude, we're going to mount him. Where's that arm? Right here. So, you know, you can kind of play around with it in your hands, but we know the door is obviously swinging outward. So we want this closer to, oops. We want him to go this way. So when the door is opening outward, he's gonna drag him back. So where we're gonna put this guy is we kind of go off of your spindle, center of spindle. Okay. When we're mounting this dude up here on the top jamb, we want him around, the safe zone is about 6.5 to 7 inches from your frame. So as long as you make a mark, 6.5 to 7 inches, I like to go more on the 6.5 side, and your center spindle is up on that mark, that's gonna give your arm a proper install. So we'll go ahead and get this guy bolted up, and we'll be right back to you. Okay, so we got our arm installation up there. We're gonna kind of run over how we did this. Again, since you can't use the template in all situations, sometimes you're gonna have to do manual placement. So we have our center of pivot at our 6.5 to 7 inch mark. Again, I like to stay around that 6.5. And what we're looking for when we install our arm is we need a slight preload. I'll take the screws out so you can see how much the arm moves. This particular arm wasn't prime for this setup. We actually had to cut it down. But as you can see, it works very nicely. And we will go through how to adjust this in a moment. So there we go. Now, if we come over here and take out our screws, you'll see how much, oops. You'll see how much this arm moves. I want you to see that. So we take our screw out. So see how our arm moves back? We had to put more preload because of how long this arm is, but it's where we have it placed. It's good. So when we have our arm set, you know, there's actually constant tension, and you don't need a ton. You don't need to like put your arm all the way over here and put your preload here. But when we talk about preload, that is just referring to there is some positive load on the door, you know, when it's shut. That way there is always positive pressure back. And sometimes, you know, a door is not shutting all the way. Sometimes these have, you know, an adjustment bolt up here. The arm slides in and out of track. Sometimes it's small as something that this thing has moved and now the door is bottoming out on with the arm before it shuts all the way. So we're gonna go ahead and actually, to get the arm up and strapped in, a really useful tip I like to do is we call zeroing out the closer. And it's where we come over to our adjustment ports. Again, adjustment ports at different locations on different closers. 4040s and 4040 style closers are gonna be on your face. I believe like up here, it's a smaller Allen wrench. Actually, you know, if you have your little LCN tool, this is what we would use to adjust the LCN style closer. Arrow ones come with one in the box. Most ones come in one in the box. I don't think this one did. So again, this is just a number four Allen, and we're gonna go over to these adjustment ports. Our latch on the bottom, most of them are labeled. It's kind of small. You can see a little L right there and a little S. So that's gonna be our speed and our latch. Our speed refers to from our you know, our open position to roughly like 35 degrees, and that latch kind of takes over that remaining space, and you'll be able to see that. So before we get the arm back on, we're gonna go ahead and screw these guys all the way down tight, righty tighty, get them all down. That way all that hydraulic fluid is not able to move around. We're gonna strap our arm back up. Again, once it's zeroed out, you'll see that the arm, it doesn't move. Or if it does, it's very, very subtle. This kind of makes mounting your arm a little easier. If you're taking off a closer too, an old closer, zeroing it out is a good way to start. That way I've, you know, in my younger days, taken an arm off and it's literally the force on the closer arm has already almost smacked me in the jaw. So a good tip I have when you're taking a closer off is to always zero it out if you can. And then again, let's get these guys. Remember not to strip it out. You know, one click from your impact, you should be good. So when the closer is zeroed out and we open our door, it's gonna stay open. You know, all that hydraulic fluid is locked in there. It's not gonna move around. So as we come over, and we're always gonna start over speed because that's the, you know, those opening degrees. So we're gonna start slowly, kind of turning this guy to get him to an appropriate speed, and then we're gonna quickly switch down to our latch and start adjusting him. And that should be good. And again, if you need to change a simple adjustment, and then your third adjustment, your spring tension, which is actually from my understanding, the physical like force or pounds on the closer is pulling the door back. So if we come up here and give him, you know, some love and kind of turn him clockwise, what it's going to do is going to make this door actually slightly heavier to push open. And again, 4040s, I do like those closers a lot. They have a power gauge on the side that actually tells you where you're at. I think they go up to like 6 or 8 or something like that, but they tell you right on the side where you're at. Closers like this, you just kind of got to guesstimate, but that's about it. Again, this is one way to tackle a closer. Many different ways. We will do more installation videos on different scenarios, but this is a basic installation of a large bolt pattern closer. Again, cover just kind of goes on with 2 screws up top. You know, small bolt pattern closer, you would do essentially in the same space on this side, and then your self tappers, instead of being all the way over here, you know, just tell your smaller bolt pattern closers smaller, so they'd be like right here. But again, we could come in and drop parallel mount drop plate, an LCN 4040 on here, no problem. I mean, it's just kind of, you know, how are we going to get it up there? That's how you got to ask yourself, and sometimes you just got to do a little homework and digging and get it up there, you know. So I hope you found this video helpful, and again, we'll have more in the future.